All right, so Peacock is the new streaming service launched by NBC Universal this week. And it is a different, I'd say, kind of streaming service because it's having a free tier. It has a premium tier and a premium plus tier. But for the most part, it is really selling being a free streaming service. So this is the first major billion-dollar streaming service that's launching a free tier ever. There was Hulu before this, but in terms of this launches like Disney Plus, HBO Max, so forth, they really are trying to get in the free tier, which is actually the one I was most interested in because what they're going to be doing for online advertising is they're actually going to have a major sales team go after online advertising for once. So online ad rates theoretically could go up and stuff, and it could really actually change the game. I've noticed everyone's just saying how terrible and how awful it is. I don't agree with that. I actually think it's interesting, especially now that people don't have a lot of money. I think a free streaming service would actually be a good thing. Certain things I like about it are that it does have so much free content. Not everything. Certain things are premium, and it seems weird that things are. There doesn't seem to be a ton of ads in it. You'd be surprised for a free streaming service. It also has this weird thing called channels, where basically you can go to a channel and watch SNL or the news or the Today Show all day, or there's an Unsolved Mysteries channel, which I liked. They also have, one of the channels is The Office Shorts, so not The Office, but just clips of The Office, but then they'll show the same clips from the same episode in a row, so sometimes you're like, wait, what am I watching? And I watch more of it than I'm proud of, but I don't understand why, because people just like having The Office on, why they don't have a channel, it's just The Office. Whatever. They do have an interesting selection. I don't think it's perfect, but I can see myself going to it occasionally, to be honest with you. I think having a free streaming service is something we sort of need right now. I know that there's certain seasons of certain shows that are free and some that aren't, but that's fine to me. Certainly like FilmRise or Tubi, but this is like a corporately huge billion-dollar streaming service one. And I actually sort of find it interesting to have a Pluto TV or streaming channels on it. I thought is actually kind of an interesting touch. I think you could do better with it. You could have NBC. You could say NBC in the 80s. You could just literally have The Office. I don't understand the Office Shorts thing. You can have any show that has any sort of a following that people just like having on. You can have there, as well as I think their TV selection isn't great. I think they should have had more selections, to be honest with you. But in terms of getting people interested in a service like this, I already sort of like it. I like the tiles on mobile. I like how it even works on my computer. Unfortunately, it is not on Roku or Amazon Fire Stick. I don't know why these streaming services that spend billions of dollars and things to get these things launched can't work out these deals with Amazon and Roku. I think that's such a mistake, because that's how most people watch streaming services, and the fact that they're not included I think is a huge mistake, but that's their mistake, I guess. When this launches on there, I can see myself going to it. If I didn't DVR something, I would just go, I'll just go to Peacock and watch it there. So I think they're really missing out, and they do have a cool service. I think people will get into it, especially because if you're watching a current show on NBC, instead of using I know certain shows like Empire, when that was on Fox, and even This Is Us, became popular not through a streaming service necessarily, but because of on demand. And if you were able to, instead of do on demand, go to a streaming service, that would work out for NBC, especially if they're making the direct ad revenue and so forth. It does have a lot of classics, which they seem to have more of that. They're actually selling these classics, which I think is actually really good. They have a lot of obscure animated shows, which I didn't expect. And I generally actually like it. I think people should be a little more open to it, because this could really change. If Peacock did well, there could be more free tiered streaming services, which I think not everyone has the money to pay for a streaming service. And I understand it's easier, but as TV is sort of going away, I think we need to be, open to having, more accessible entertainment. And I like that about Peacock. But I know certain things like the Saved by the Bell reboot sort of show and things they wanted to have ready at launch aren't because of COVID. That's fine. But as for what the streaming services is and like understanding it, I actually really liked it. I also, by the way, like that when I watched the news, the NBC News was really easy. They seem to edit it differently for Peacock, so I'm just like watching it. And I didn't even notice like the commercial breaks or even get sick of it till the end, like human interest piece story. So much like how Quibi, I really like the news on there. I now have a news service that's not like just Philip DeFranco or whatever. So, which I actually quite liked. I learned a lot from that news segment. I do like watching news while I like do dishes and stuff. So, I could see like what I was saying before is like I wish there's an easier way to watch the nightly news. You can have that. So, anyway, I wanted to also recommend things to actually watch on Peacock. But before I get to that part, I will say, give this service a try. I think it's free. All you have to do is put your email in. You don't have to pay for it. Certain things are tiered, and that's annoying. But for the most part, I actually I find there's a lot of possibility in this. I think it will be cooler as it goes on, and I think they could do neater things with it. I more look at its potential and the idea of a major company understanding how it's going to have to sell online advertising through it. I think is really interesting. I wish more people would be a little more open to that. Check out Peacock. I mean, it's free. It's a free streaming service. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm just going to use the free tier. So, and if I do another recommendation thing, then it'll probably be that. So, let me go through some of the more interesting... They actually do have interesting stuff on here, and I'll bring that up. They actually have Tully, which I haven't seen, so I might actually do that at some point. And I've been meaning to do Tully. I don't think they edit things either, which is interesting. These are just free. So, these are things that I would recommend to watch on Peacock currently at launch. They had Phantom Thread, which was one of my favorite movies of that year, best movies of that year, Paul Thomas Anderson with Daniel Day-Lewis. It's a great movie. Check it out. They also have, and I think a lot of people in the chat have already said it, The Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, which is, in my mind, the best version of Felix the Cat after the silent version of Felix the Cat. I think it is a worthy follow-up to that character and a great reboot. I didn't like the other TV series from the 50s. He's just like in a crappy animated show in the 50s. It's like, whatever. But Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, and I've heard like animation experts talk about how great that show really is, and it's awesome that that's free for everyone. They have a bunch of Hitchcock stuff. What is and isn't seems to be weird. like The Saboteur is pay, but Vertigo isn't. I'm like, all right, guys, I would have made The Saboteur free, but or like Everybody Loves Raymond and stuff. I don't know. Or King of Queens. Doesn't make sense. But regardless, Rear Window. If you've never seen Rear Window, it's free. Go see it. You have no excuses. It's a great thing to watch, especially if you're stuck inside. I might rewatch that. I love Rear Window. As well as Vertigo. Vertigo isn't the greatest Hitchcock to start with, so if you've never seen Hitchcock before, don't start with that. But if you've seen some Hitchcocks, it is generally considered to be one of the greatest films ever made. It is a very good movie. They also have a Coen Brothers film that I like that not a lot of people does, but The Man Who Wasn't There. I've always liked this film. It's been a little bit since I've seen it, but it's a cool like noir with Billy Bob Thornton, directed by the Coen Brothers. They also have Scarface, but the 30s Scarface. If you love the 80s Scarface, guess what? It's a remake of a movie, and there's sort of a point to the remake and stuff that everyone misinterprets. So if you want to, tell your weird friend who watches Scarface a million times that there's like a whole perspective that they're not into, you should check out of this movie that's super weird that they don't. You should check it out. It's a great movie as well. They also have a ton of Johnny Carson, which is crazy. There's never been really this much Johnny Carson for free before, and I'm surprised people aren't freaking out about that more, because they don't offer a ton. They offer a good amount of episodes. Some of them are best ofs and stuff like that, but there really isn't a great place to watch a ton of Johnny Carson clips. And you can get some cool interviews with some classic actors and people like that. So check out the Johnny Carson thing. I really recommend that, because I like Johnny Carson stuff. He pretty much predates me entirely, but I thought that was cool. They also have Cheers. I don't think all the Cheers stuff is on there, but they do have some Cheers, and you should check it. Cheers is a great show generally. They also have Matinee, the Joe Dante movie, which is a big fave of mine, which I should review at some point. It's about a movie in a movie, kind of a William Castle movie in a movie, and it's really cool. They have full Beatles episodes. I missed that one. I also saw they have Exo Squad, which is really cool as well. And they have the Savage Dragon cartoon, which I never was as into, but I'm sort of want to test out. And they also have The New Adventures of He-Man, which is sort of a forgotten He-Man reboot from the early 90s, which I sort of watched. I had the figures because I was such a He-Man fan. It's a weird show. There is a YouTube video I saw kind of sums up the show, and I was like, yeah, that was a weird show. They also have Fletch, the Chevy Chase movie I brought up earlier, which is really great. You should see. And this is sort of an interesting recommendation I wanted to bring up. They do have a lot of the road movies, the Bing Crosby, Bob Hope road movies. I formerly actually did reviews of all those films. I did a Road to the Road movie series. But they don't have... Road to Morocco is tiered, which is, in my mind, one of the greatest comedies of all time. I would recommend that one first. But they have what I would probably say is the second best one, which is Road to Utopia, which is still really good. I like the road movies. They're really good. They're kind of parodies of adventure films. Or they're parodies of adventure films at the time, which ended up becoming a franchise that was more popular than actual adventure films of that period, which is hilarious. Some people criticize those films for tropes that those adventure films had, but they misinterpret it because those road movies are parodying and actually calling out a lot of the racism of those adventure films. So if anyone says, don't watch those, they're problematic, they don't fully understand the context of what they're talking about. Anyway, I've noticed that's a comment, so they are really funny, and Road to Utopia you should check out. I love the road movies, especially Road to Morocco. That's an all-timer. Yeah, Peacock is a cool service. I would say check it out. It's free. It's free. There's no reason not to check it out. Everyone's saying it's a disaster. Don't compare it to HBO Max. Don't compare it to Disney+. It is, in fact, not a similar service to that because it has a free tier, and it's doing a lot of different things. It has like a channel section. It's weirder. It's different. So I'm open to what it's doing, and I hope other people are too, because I think selling TV ad, having a TV ad sales team work on online advertising could very much change the game. I'm open to that for obvious reasons, but also I think it's a cool way to take streaming, and I hope they work out the Roku thing. I think it's embarrassing that they haven't, but as of right now, I'm kind of happy with it. But I'm happy with ignoring it because I don't have to worry about a free trial. I don't have to worry about how much it costs or work out a cable thing. I just have it. I mean, what's simpler than that? And to me, it's like doing interesting things with a streaming service that I can just have on my phone and be able to watch news and randomly put on, Unsolved Mysteries. To me is pretty cool. So as of right now, I like Peacock. I know various critics and people don't love it as much, but I like it and its potential, and I hope it works out for you.